Okay guys, today we're going to have a look at closed guard variations and some of the principles rather than the techniques that we need to remember when we're working from our back. So initially I was asked about rubber guard, but I'm not a massive fan of rubber guard here, so what I'm going to talk about is what we need to do when we're looking at closed guard, some of the principles behind rubber guard, and some of the similarities and differences that will help your general guard play. So, let's say we're working in closed guard. Obviously a chair is not an ideal training partner for this because I can't close my guard around it. But normally what we're looking for is this connection, being able to close your legs around your partner's waist. Because this is where your control comes from here, right? Your ability to completely encircle their hips and move and control here, right? Now obviously my chair is not a perfect representation for this, but the problem with working with a partner with good posture is that you don't have to be sitting up looking for control, breaking them back down. And yes, you can use your legs, bring them back in towards you here. What I like to do particularly is raise my hips up and then use this combination of gravity here, my weight dropping down, connecting and bringing everything forwards to add momentum to the mix. Right? It can still be really hard to do against a bigger, stronger opponent. Right? So breaking down the posture can be tricky to do, but it's the first really important step. When they're postured up, like in this case it's a bit extreme, but here, like I'm not going to be able to work arm bars, triangles. Most of my sweeping options are limited because their weight is not on me, right? For me to connect my weight to them to be able to move them around, my only real option is they're postured up and sitting back is to start working sit-up sweeps and stuff. And again, very hard to work this on a chair, right? With a real opponent, a little bit easier. What we're looking to do actually is to try and break them down. Like I said, posture is always going to be used as control. If you can sit up and break them down, use your weight. In this instance it's going to be pretty tricky, but what we're looking to do is break them down. So in that case, when the chair is upright, it's a little bit trickier. When they're broken down, right, and the posture is bent over like this, it's much easier to work submissions, certain sweeps, because now I can take their weight onto me, right? I've got access to their arms, to the neck here. So, although this isn't a perfect representation, having your chair bent over like this is a great indicator of where we want to be, right? So, how do we get them down from there to there? Sleeve grips, chair, reaching up, controlling, pulling them down, all good things here, but this can be tricky to do, right? It can be really hard to do just to pull them straight down, pull them straight back down against, and even though you've got gravity on their side, they've got their back, their legs resisting, they can frame, it can be really hard to do. So what I like to do, a lot of the time once I have control of any kind here, is to start opening my guard here. Now I need to make sure I have my grips in place, otherwise I'm going to lose this and they're going to back out. Chair's not going to do that, but otherwise here, once I have control in the collar and the sleeve usually, or double sleeve, but I prefer the collar grip as this is a bit stronger here, I can really hang off from here. Now he can't back away. What I can do now is start opening here and pushing off his hips. In this case I'm going to be moving the chair back, but often you're going to be moving yourself, and what you're going to do is stretch them out to this kind of position here. And now they're bent over and you're using the power of your legs to extend away. And you're not pulling them down onto you, but pushing the hips away instead. Right, now we're into these kind of positions here. Right. And again, we can lock our guard back up here. And we've got much more solid control here. And it's a very different position. So, one thing to be clear on also is where our leg placement is. We're going around the hips and you can see roughly where the belt line is here, right? I've got decent control, right, over his body. But for submissions especially, I want to be climbing my hips higher, my legs higher, up around his shoulder line. I can do this even from a fairly postured close guard here, right? Just by climbing higher up here. The more you have control over his shoulders as opposed to his hips, the easier it is now for you to break him back down, right? And this is where we start getting towards rubber guard scenarios here, right? Close it around here. You can see he's a lot more supported in his hips and his legs. This is really weird talking about chair this way. Once I climb up high here, with better control over the shoulders here, I can pull them back down, right? The other thing to notice is where my hips are, my knees are in relationship to my hips, right? If I'm looking for arm bars and triangles here, now I have to pull up and my knees are closer to my shoulders. There's a lot more pressure here. I'm a lot more stacked up. Easier for them to start putting pressure on, right? If I have in this stretched out position I was talking about earlier here, putting feet on the hips and controlling, now when I lock my guard up high, right, my knees are comfortably over my hips and I don't need the same flexibility as I do when I'm locking the hips, bringing everything up here. It's a lot harder to talk that way. Here, I've got a lot better control and I don't need this flexibility. Right? Rubber guard, we're talking about bringing a leg up here, controlling with our own hand over the other side of their head, controlling their posture here. With one arm, locking the arms in place here, and that means I have a spare arm. Right? Made popular by Eddie Bravo here. Very useful in no-gi and MMA. The problem is here, we're kind of limited to what we've got. We've got options definitely, right? But a lot of people use this when they've got their opponent broken down, trying to pull up here, you start pulling on their leg, and it requires a lot of flexibility here. You're going to feel it in your butt, you're going to feel it in your knees especially, so I don't particularly like this variation because there are a lot of good attacking options, but it puts a lot of pressure on your knees. There are easier ways around this. So when I'm looking to attack from close guard, I'm looking to stretch them out also and start working from a much more neutral position where I have a lot more strength. Their posture is broken down, my hips and knees are in much better alignment. My personal go-to from here, once they're broken down, is not physically hold them down, but start looking to angle off, so I pressure against the side of the head. I'm not pulling down or lifting or whatever, I'm pushing to the side here and making an angle. And again, I'm using my feet on the hips for this. Now we have a similar position, right, where we can use our leg over the back of the shoulders to control their posture. Right? But now I'm also not stacked up. I don't have to have any kind of extreme flexibility. Where here I'm pressuring, and there's like pressure in my LCL and MCL here, and my hips here, and he's stacking forwards into me. What I'm looking to do instead is hip out to the side. Normally, again, I'm going to keep this foot and hip control. You can see my foot here, my right foot's close on this hip. My left foot stays on the hip as well. And I'm closed off. I'm off to the side here. So now, what I look to do, on the hook, the arm and the leg, I frame against their head. So I've got a lot of postural control. My leg now, rather than my arms, are keeping them down. I'm driving their head off to the side. Gives me a lot of omoplata attacks here. Gives me the option to take this leg out, start triangling here. But whatever the options we're looking for, what's important to remember here is, again, we're trying to circumvent the need for flexibility. Right, we want to do this with technique and with good position, good posture. If I hip out, work off to the side, start framing away here. Ready creates this angle in the arm. And this angle makes it a lot easier than having to be flexible and throw my legs over here. I've got decent control over the guy here, and I'm not requiring flexibility. As opposed to if I'm here, and what you see a lot of people trying to do, drag this arm up, pull it up over here, and yes, you've got pressure down their neck, if I'm bent over, I'm going to need a lot of hip mobility if I'm going to start looking to spin under, look for arm bars and everything here. If I have this angle here, it's a lot easier for me to move. I don't need extreme flexibility. Start attacking here, here, arm bars and stuff like that here. So I want you guys to start getting used to this foot on hip position here and using this to create space, and then also looking for this angle now where I'm off at almost 45 degrees, framing against the head. It's called Williams guard. It's one of my favourite positions here, in closed guard especially. Controlling, underhooking your own leg, framing against the head here. A lot of omoplatas, triangles available here. Sitting up for guillotines and the like we also have. Pure rubber guard would be much more square on position here. You're relying on flexibility, and you can see how I'm kind of folded up on top of myself here. This is basically the main reason why I don't like this. Even though we are climbing up high over the shoulders, it can be problematic. So here, closing up high, pulling down, framing. Now we've got options here, looking to control the feet on the hips. So guys, it's a static position, closed guard. But when we start attacking off it, what we need to do is start moving, keeping that control, even though our guard is now open. Still not going to be able to back out. Maintain this connection to his hips. So it'll give me a lot of options here. On the platters, here, arm bars, something like that. So chair is dummy. Give it a hand, please, gentlemen. Hopefully you can see roughly what I'm trying to say about closed guard. Controlling posture, getting your guard high, creating angles is just as important in closed guard as it is in any other position in Jiu-Jitsu. Hope that makes some sense. If you've got any questions, hit me up in the comments or shoot me a message. Thank you very much, guys.